Hello, everybody. It's another day in paradise. Happy St. Patrick's Day from Las Vegas. And it's Ruthie Rocks and Jimmy Dague, the black belt broker. I love that name.
Thank you. Me too.
It's a little bit scary and intriguing at the same time.
Oh, yay.
Well, let's see what's going on. We are 0.64 months of inventory. What are you going to say about that? 1,828 homes available to sell. And we closed 121 yesterday. We put 132 under contract, and we just listed 104. And if you can quickly do the math, we're going down. Year to date, we have done 2,208, or March, I'm sorry, month to date. 2,282 homes. That's 143 homes a day we're selling, Jimmy. That's unbelievable.
Crazy.
Last year we were doing 108. Now last year was right at the beginning of pandemic. So it'll be interesting to see in the next several weeks how the numbers fare for last year versus this year. And year to date, we've been averaging 123 homes, and last year to date, 104 homes. So I have put on the group the non-branded version of the stats. And I talked, Jimmy, yesterday about everybody printing them out and putting them in their purse, in their pocket, whatever, wear their badge. And when somebody says, oh, you're in real estate, how's the market, right? You just pull out and they'll be so impressed because, excuse me, sir, because, my husband's impossible mission phone message going on. Anyway, they will say, oh, I know who you are. And you're informed. I mean, that's a great way to start a relationship or to give people information if they know you. Oh, hi, Jimmy, how's the market? And you pull this out. Oh my gosh, and you can tell them, I keep track of the market every day. You don't have to tell them, you're not lying. You didn't create it. You're just saying I keep track of it, but you have it in front of you. It just gives you so much credibility. I just think that's such a great tip for agents to use what we produce for them every day.
And I think if you ask them the question, what do you get out of this chart? Then that forces them to really look at this charts and the statistics and say, oh my God, there's 143 a day sales in Las Vegas. Is this just Las Vegas? Is this,
yeah.
They'll think it's the whole state or whatever.
Exactly. And then I keep on here on the lower right-hand corner there, the appreciation depending on when you bought your home. And I think that's another great source of information for people. Well, I bought my home in 2016, Oh my gosh, you probably have $110,000 in equity if you bought the medium price home.
Right.
So it gives you so much credibility and that's what it's all about. What do we have here? We have, wow, a sinking ship. It's a good thing. We need more production than listings. Bottom line, yes, go list. And someone else is going 143 sales a day. Wow, I know it. And good morning. People joining us today. Thank you. We appreciate your loyalty, believe me. We're not talking to the wall or the screen, right, Jimmy?
Right.
So what else do you have to say about the market?
Well, it's St. Patrick's Day today. And this guy goes into the bar and he tells the bartender, he says, hey, now give me 3 shots of your finest Irish whiskey. So the bartender sets up these 3 shots and he drinks them right down. And he comes back the next day and says, hey there, give me 3 shots of your finest Irish whiskey. And the bartender lines him up and he gives him the 3 shots and he drinks them down. He comes in the next day, hey, now give me 3 shots. And the bartender says, listen, he says, I could just put all these in one glass. It would just be a lot easier. He says, no, you don't understand. I have 2 brothers. This one here, this is for me, brother Finnegan. And this one here, this is for me, brother Seamus. And this one here, this is for me. He said, I kind of feel like I'm drinking with me brothers when I come in here and I get 3 shots. He comes back the next day, he gets 3 shots of the finest Irish whiskey. The next day he comes in, he says, just give me 2 shots today. And the bartender says, oh my God, did something happen to Finnegan? He said, no, Finnegan's good. Did something happen to Seamus? No, Seamus is good. I just decided to quit drinking.
That is so funny. Oh my gosh. That is so funny. All right. Well, let's put that down. And Jimmy, yesterday we talked about the bubble. And our next segment of the show, I'll have to probably move my, there we go, is why the cost of a home is more critical than the price. So, this is information that is part of that buyer's guide that I'm putting together.
Mm-hmm.
And Kane left before I could post it, although by the time he gets back, it'll be posted next week in a week. But this is really an important piece of information, and I'm going through my paperwork because I want to find it. If you want to address it for a second while I look.
It is a gift. This thing that you're putting up here, it is a gift for people. When you can help me be healthy, wealthy, or wise, you're contributing to my enjoyment of life and my value, and you're contributing to me in a way that most people do not. So if this book makes me healthy, wealthy, or wise, I'm getting smarter. I'm looking at this, and it's going to help me be more wealthy. Maybe this is the nudge that I needed to get over the hump, because you and I both know it's easier to just keep renting than this to go out and find a house and make an offer and buy a house and get finance and move all my stuff. It's easier to stay renting. Easy is not always the best.
Exactly. And this information is so valuable in so many ways. And Buffini said yesterday in his podcast, it's not what you say, it's not what you do, it is how you make them feel. And that's why people remember you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Bob Odin said last week in the podcast that let's see, I think maybe it was Nightingale. Anyway, in 2 months, you can make more friends by being interested in them than you can make in 2 years by making them interested in you.
Dale Carnegie said that, and how to win friends and influence people. Yeah.
Let's see, Leslie, please take a look at the, Leslie says, please take a look at this daily real estate update with Ruth Allbrand and Jimmy Dague. Oh, thank you. And then we have somebody else that's just happy to be here. I love that. So anyway, and in Cialdini's book, he talked about, the power of persuasion. And that's why we talk about what you do, what you say, it's how you make people feel. And he's very much into the feeling part of whatever you want to do for people. Now, politicians use this in a negative way because they want you to feel insecure, and then they can manipulate you. So the power of persuasion can go both ways. Your power of persuasion should be how you make them feel. And if you make people feel good, you can be a better leader. You can be a better realtor, a better professional. And when you make people feel good, they remember you. And when you give things, and that's what we're about, is giving things to people. It's not about me and you, Jimmy. It's about what we give to the people that are our loyal followers. And then they can give to their clients. And so that's really what we're all about, is giving and giving value and making people feel good.
Yeah, and I have 2 quotes that go along with that. Tony Robbins says, success is a science, fulfillment is an art. And when we talk about the science of success, if I do these things, I'm going to be on the path to success. The path has already been blazed. The trail's been blazed. And in Dr. Cialdini's book, Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion, he says there's a science behind what you're talking about right now. He says, when you make them feel good, and he gives the example of these university students that are given this task, and they want to sell something. And on one university campus, they say, look, time is money, get to the point. On the other university campus, they say, look, build a little rapport before you try to sell them something. Just find out how they're doing. Ask them about their hobbies or something. And the people that went to the feeling is what you're talking about. They didn't go right to business. Their results were way better. So it might seem like touchy-feely, but there's a science behind what you're talking about right now. It's the way the brain works. You got to make those connections. You got to make them feel good. Otherwise, you're never going to be able to really get the results for them and for you that you're looking for. This is a big piece not to leave out.
Absolutely. And so what we're giving to you today is why the cost of a home is more critical than the price. And that's what you can give to people. And housing inventory, we know, is at an all-time low. There's 25.7% fewer homes for sale today than there were last year. And that is in the United States. I want to make sure everybody understands that, because it's less here. And the buyer demand is so very strong. And the pending home sales index by the National Association of Realtors reports that year over year, contract signings rose 13%. As we saw, in today's stats, what did we say? We put 132 under contract. Now, we know we didn't do that last year, because last year our average daily closings was 108. And so, we are definitely putting more under contract and doing more sales. Michael says, Zappia says, make people feel special. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So, Jimmy, there's a shortage in the supply, and that makes the item in demand, high demand, and then the price increases, and we all have to get ready for that. And that's why we talked yesterday about 3 reasons why there is not a housing bubble, because you have to understand both parts of this. Supply and demand is good. Obviously, it's capitalism at its finest, right? Because we have the ability in this society to sell things for market price, or in our industry we have a lot of freedoms. So anyway, the home price index from CoreLogic reports that home prices increased 10%. CoreLogic also forecasts a 3.3 home price increase on a year-over-year basis by the end of 2021. Now, I'm just here to tell everybody, these are statistics that I don't agree with, basically. And I think in the United States, because CoreLogic is saying 3.3 home price increase by the end of this year, I think it's going to be greater, Jimmy, for the United States. And I know it's going to be greater for Las Vegas. I mean, right now, the median price listing is 362. Versus 347 when we started the year. So, and I can't do the math that quick, but I think that's, an easy 3%.
And it's $12,000 a year. 3.3 of 360 is $12,000. It's $1,000 a month increase. If we just do the minimum, what these guys are saying, and you're saying in the Vegas, we'll do better than that. But that's $12,000 a year just in Vegas, just if we use that number.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the great news is, if you're planning to sell the house, on the other hand, as either a first time, but on the other hand, if you're a first time or repeat buyer, this may instead seem like troubling news. However, purchasers should realize that the price of a house is not as important as the cost. And then, he says, let's break it down. And this article says there are several factors that influence the cost of a home. 2 major ones are the price of the home and the interest rate. So that's how they separate the cost from the price. So the cost is the price of the home and the interest rate at which a buyer can borrow the funds necessary to purchase the home. Can you state that any clearer?
Well, yeah, we don't live in the price, we live in the payment. And if you try to get a loan, the payment includes the principal and interest and your monthly fees. Something you and I almost never talk about is the energy efficiency of the newer homes. And when you add up all your bills at the end of the month, those utility costs go in there. When they're figuring the cost of home ownership on a loan, they look at the HOA, they look at the energy costs, they look at all that stuff. And so your payment might be a little bit higher on a newer home, but the monthly costs to live there are going to balance out to some level. And we almost never talk about that. But the energy efficiency thing is a big deal too on newer homes.
It is. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I didn't take that into consideration, actually, when I was talking about it. And then Freddie Mac says the average rate for a 30-year mortgage in 2020 was about 3.6. The rate for January was 2.73. Talk about payment. So then they said, let's use an example of how the difference impacts the true cost of a home. So assume that you in 2020, January, took out a $350,000 mortgage to buy that same home in 2021, applying last year's appreciation of 10%, you would need to take out a mortgage of $385,000. And you say that a lot in the classes that you teach. You expound on that a lot.
Well, when the rates lower, the actual P&I is going to be lower. So this is why you have talked about now is the best time to buy a house. These rates are not coming back. If you don't take advantage of these rates right now, you're missing a huge opportunity. The rates are, it's a big deal.
So here's what I just said. And this is, look at this, Jimmy. This is like in 2020, if you didn't buy a home for $350,000, and when the interest rate was 3.62 and your payment would have been $1,595, in 2021, when it goes to 300, that same home to 385,000, with the interest rate of 2.73, your payment's lower.
If you
Isn't
can get
that
the 2.7, yeah, if you can get the 2.7 loan,
Yeah.
and for the last 6 weeks in a row, rates have inched up a little bit.
And yeah, a little bit. But anyway, it equates to about 340,000 annually, which is 10,000 over the life of a 30-year loan. That's real money.
Well,
And
waiting costs them $35,000. Waiting costs them $35,000, no matter how you slice it. Even if they can get in with the same payment, when they sell their house, they've lost $35,000 in profit by waiting 1 year.
yes.
Oh yeah, sign another year's lease. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Are you crazy? You're crazy.
Yeah, and we have a downloadable guide for every price range that shows people the difference. And I think what I'm going to do is possibly add the savings. I might go back and review those guides, and add the savings. I didn't put that on there, but it's a good idea. So anyway, even as home values are appreciating, it's a great time to buy a home while the mortgage rates are still very low. And Jimmy, what happens when we have inflation?
Well, they're going to raise rates for sure.
And they're going to and the price of real estate becomes the best hedge against it.
Yep.
Because the prices will go up when there's inflation. And like you always say, is the price of labor going up, Jimmy?
It is.
Is the price of materials going up?
It is.
And what's the third one?
Land.
And
Land.
is the price of land going up? Yeah.
Isn't it interesting how, Ruthie, this just snuck up on us? It's been coming for like the last 3 years. This thing has been slow. It's almost like erosion. You have a piece of property, and slowly but surely, this thing has just come this has happened for the last couple of years.
Yeah. And y'all need to just shake those trees and get those buyers and sellers, especially the sellers, because this is the time they need. If they're going to move, they need to move now. And there's so many compelling things that we're giving you to share with them. And people look at things, differently. So sometimes you have to present things in different lights for people. Maybe it's the amount of equity they have, and it's time to take advantage of that equity and, use it to buy a newer home. And like you said, newer homes may cost them less in the long run because of the energy efficiencies. And of course, the lack of land, which they don't have to maintain, because we do know those lots are small. So, Jimmy, before we go on to a little bit of social media, do you have anything else you want to say about today's message?
Well, just you've heard the story so many times about the big flood, but I'm almost afraid to tell this story. Do you remember the story about the big flood?
You have so many. I don't know.
Okay.
I know. I'm sure it's in there somewhere.
Okay. This radio broadcast comes out. It says the floods are coming. You need to get to higher ground. You need to lock up your house. You need to evacuate the city. The floods are coming. And so the police come knock on this guy's door. The police come knock on his door and say, listen, you need to evacuate. We're evacuating the whole city. He says, no, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. He says, look, you don't understand. The flood's coming. And it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. I don't know when it's going to get here, but you need to evacuate. He says, no, God will provide. Remember this? God will provide. No. God will provide. Okay, so then it starts to rain, and it's coming down in buckets, and water starts coming into this guy's house. That's how flooding it is. And the Coast Guard comes by. The Coast Guard comes by, and they knock on the door and say, "Look, you need to come with us. We have a boat here. We're going to get you out of here while it's still safe." And he says, "No, I'll be fine. Look, you don't understand. It's going to get worse." He says, "No, God will provide. God will provide. I'll be fine." So they leave. So it keeps raining and buckets are coming down, and the guy has to go out of his house and climb on his roof because his house is now filled with water. His house is filled with water. He's on the roof, and this helicopter comes by, and they throw down a rope, and they say, "Listen, get on the rope because it's going to get worse. The flood waters are going to, we ain't seen nothing yet." He says, no, God will provide. I'm fine. Go rescue somebody else. So pretty soon, the water goes up so high, the guy drowns. And he goes to heaven. And he says, "Look," he said, "I had total faith. He said, I had total faith. I always told everybody God will provide." And God said, "I sent you a boat and a helicopter. What else do you want?"
That is somewhat, I need to remember that one, Jimmy.
Well, that's what we're telling these people in this rental. That's
exactly.
The message here. You think God's going to provide for you $35,000 in equity in 1 year? If you don't get out there and say, "Look, God is giving you a message right now. You might not be religious, but there's a message here. This has been so consistent. It's raining. You better get out of the rain."
Yeah, right.
Don't be renting right now. That's a mistake.
It's a mistake. It's a big mistake. And I mean, I can tell you right now, with having we manage over 300 properties. And they're here today, gone tomorrow when we put them on the market.
Yep.
And then we have all these people that are so, "Oh my gosh, I need to find a place to live." I mean, you should hear when they call. And it's, we just say, just stand by, but get ready to pull the trigger when you see something.
Yep.
So anyway, Jimmy, I want to just, let's see, two more little things before we end the show. One of the things is, and, I think it's so important that people know what's coming up. And on Thursday, the 25th, we have Jack Lindbergh teaching the 3 CE credits for ethics, cybersecurity. And I have to tell everybody, it is really, really necessary that you take this class. And then, Jimmy, your teaching is contracts. Is that the contracts class? I believe. Let me get my little cheat sheet out here. I know the screen's so hard to see. Yeah, writing and presenting the purchase contract. Because in today's world, Jimmy, and I said yesterday, and I just want to reiterate that you're going to help us negotiate multiple offers and how the right way is to do them. Because right now, that's really important. Are you adding that into our class?
Yeah, we'll talk about multiple offers. Yeah. You bet.
Yeah, because and I think the listing says something about it, and then there's ways to put things into the purchase contract to help you get your offer at the top of the stack anyway. And then we're doing a law class. I think Keith Kelly's so far going to do the law class on the 29th, and that's 3 CE law credits. And then April 2nd, we start Buffini, 100 Days to Greatness for 21 weeks from 1 to 3 at 8400 West Sahara, and we are probably going to Zoom that as well. So